so now I got the little cursor, so now I'm recording. And there we go. So a movie over here, and then we're going to go to GIMP, File, New. And so this little window pops up, right? So here's your image size. Now we want to be 920 by 358. And then, so see where it says right here, 72 DP or PPI. It also stands for DPI, but it's dots per square inch. So for the web, 72 is what you want to use. If you were doing print, it needs to be 300 DPI. So it's just a higher resolution. But for web, it's 72. So by default, it'll always be 72. So you don't have to worry about that. So now it looks like we're working here. One thing that I do first is I go image, guides, new guide by percent. And you'll have a video of this too, so I'm going fast. So a horizontal, boom, there's our grid. Image, guides, new guide by percent. Come on. Why is it doing that? Vertical. Cool. So now we got a simple grid. Now you go over here and you see you got all these tools, right? So you don't need to use most of them for right now, but there's our text tool. And let me just go back to Photoshop real quick. I want to figure out what our font was. I got so many programs going. It may crash. Okay, so Helvetica Neue and then extra black condensed. So I can send you these fonts as well. So let's see. If I go boom. So over here is our font tool option, right? So I just go, once you have your font installed, you just type down at the bottom. Okay, and then make it bigger. Okay, so we know that that's too big. This thing here, so if you're ever like moving it, it's like, gosh, why am I not moving my text? You know, it's moving this back layer. So see where this tool option is, right? We're on the select tool here. This lets you move stuff around, but by default, it starts off with pick, layer, or guide, right? So these are layers, that's a guide. We want to be on move the active layer. So you go over here and you got your layers panel. So here's our background, which we can turn that on and off. Then we got the MVP. All right, this is way too big, right? So we go ahead and click back on the text, and then we can just decrease it. What was it? MVP youth? That's what we did it before? Okay. All right, so we got MVP youth. We move that over there. It's still too big. So we just drop the size down. Let's just say that looks good. So now, what I did before, right? So now we got this font that we made it bigger, but it's too big, right? So what we got to then do is, there's this button here, scale tool, and then you can move it how you want. And then all we got to do too is click on this. Say I want the text to be white. Why is it not letting me do things? So I won't have you worry about the button text and things. Or I guess I could create a button for you and then you just type over it. Actually come in over here. And gradients are pretty easy. You just pick a brighter red, hit OK. And then you got to go over here to the other red and see how it's changing there and over here. We're just changing that and finding like a darker version. Okay. And I grab my gradient, and then you can just go at whatever angle you want it to go. Like if I want it like that or like that. And then there's the gradient. Right, okay, so that was really fat. We didn't like that one. Go back in here and let's find like light. Okay, that looks good. Make it white. And then that's really big, so we decrease. That's too small. Okay, so now remember we got this background, right? So that's behind everything. So then all we got to do is go here to this background layer, and then we come up and go File, Open as Layers, and that pulls up this little deal, and that's where we can go into our find our image. I think it was this one. If not, we'll figure it out. All right, so there's the image. Now, super big image. So we go over here, right click, scale image. See, now that's 3,200 pixels big. We're at 920 as our width. So let's try it at like 1,200 first. Okay, so we're still a little bit too big. So I go back and go right click, scale image. Let's try it at 1,000. And then it'll automatically, as long as this thing's clicked, see now it's unlinked. And there's, oh, it's messing me up. But anyway, if it's linked, right, it'll keep the aspect ratio. So if I make this 1,000, it'll change the height to correspond. If you break it, then you can make it really wide and not so tall, and it'll skew it. But so there we go. And then basically you would click on your text file. All right, I want that actually to be white. I want basketball to be white. And then real quick, I'll just show this, but if you wanted to do your drop shadow, you just go Filter, Light and Shadow, Drop Shadow. And then the best way of doing this is I just do 1, 1, and then like a little bit of a blur radius. So what this is 1 pixel to the right and 1 pixel down for the drop shadow. And then see, boom, put that little shadow. And then I can just go to the MVPUs, Filter, Light and Shadow, Drop Shadow. And it saves your previous settings. So, okay, boom, so there it is. And then we just go File, This one is export. And then see, it'll automatically put it, come up with your name, b-ball reg, and then save it where we want, right? So that's simple as that. And then what I'll do here is I go File, Save As. Okay. Let me go into MVP Youth Sports. And so what I'll do is I'll come in here and go, can I create a new folder? GIMP home. All right, let's just do this. GIMP templates. Okay. Home slider template. Full lead. Cool. So that's done. And then what I'll do here is I'll just go use the extension icon to switch the record focus to your current tab. You can also use the keyboard shortcut Alt-Shift-F. Alt-Shift-F. So it's continuing to record that screen that I was left on. So now we're looking at this. So I can just go compose. You like that? Thank you. We got our LLC August of 2010. Yeah, so it's been a fun little journey, and especially, I mean, we've been tripling our revenues each year. Still not where I want to be, revenue wise, but at the same time, I'm looking at I've done a lot of training and developing over the last few years too, and I think that I still have that feeling like I haven't popped yet. You know what I mean? So I'm just kind of the things that are available for me to do now are weren't possible before. I just did not have the skill sets, and so now I'm a lot more confident in what my abilities are. It's me and my dad, and then I also have a development team. One second here. Oh, is that it? Oh yeah, I'm attaching a file. So I've got Chris and Christina up in their island. It's not Whidbey. It's one of them up there. They're up there in the peninsula. But yeah, they're Lopez Island is where they're at. But it's okay. So yeah, they're up there in Lopez Island. They do a lot of my production websites. Then I've got my buddy Arcady, who's a software and app developer. So working with him, and then I've got my marketing and search engine and social media team. So basically, I've got people that do things for me, underneath my white label, My Faith Local, and same thing for them. Like I design websites for their company and put their brand on it. So now I sent you that email, and if you just right click later on and just open with GIMP, it'll open it up and look just like this. And then so all you have to do is you can go over here and be like, all right, cool. Now I've got this image. You know what? I don't want this image anymore. So I'm just going to go layer, or actually you'll go file, open as layers, and then pick whatever. So yeah, you got that. Okay, so let me close these out. And then, oh, my screen recorder.